Is your dog an Olympic track star when you open the door, bolting out at record speed? Or does getting packages feel like you've got to lock down the area like Fort Knox before you even open the door? Doors and dogs can be a challenging combination. It seems like the dog always wants to be on the other side of it. And if you have a dog who bolts out the door, let's talk about it. I'm sure you know it's a huge safety hazard, and you're probably frustrated about it and uncertain how to train for it. That's today's topic. Let's go. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. Okay, when we deal with a behavior like this, we work on a PMET plan. Now that sounds complicated, but stick with me. We're going to break it down into small and manageable steps. This is also the best way to tackle training for any unwanted behavior with your dog. You're going to break it down into tiny baby steps where your dog can learn new skills in a way that's easy, fun, and successful. Our first job in this PMET plan is to prevent this behavior from happening. Preventing it means putting up some kind of barrier so your dog can't keep bolting out. This is usually in the form of a baby gate or a pen around the front door. Now hear me well, because this applies to all behavior. The more he does it, the more he'll do it. So bolting out the door is a very rewarding behavior for your dog because the outside world can be very interesting. So he's likely to do it again and again and again if he bolts out, even once. Prevention is really important. Now don't worry about having baby gates and pens up around the door forever. Prevention is what we do when we're working on the behavior. Eventually, when you've been successful at the training, you're going to be able to take down the gates. This is a lot like training wheels, right? They're temporary until the new skill is learned and perfected. Next, you're going to want to work on a backup plan, just in case prevention falls through. We call this management. Now this could be something like tether him to you if you know someone will be arriving, or you're going to be opening the door, or have another human holding onto the leash and working to keep his focus while you open the door. Management is what we do if the behavior is happening, even if we tried to prevent it. Now I want you to avoid physically restraining him by holding his collar or his leash if he's lunging at the door. Now, if he's that determined to get to the door, he should be in another room when you open the door. That's not a safe behavior, and it's not good for you or another human to be restraining him. He could take his frustrations out with a snarl or a nip or even a bite. Now, let's dig into that reinforcement thing. Think about this from the dog's perspective. The outside world is filled with all new sights and sounds and smells. Dogs like novelty, and they're natural explorers. So he's probably heading outside to check things out. So at this point, I want you to ask yourself, is my dog getting enough time outdoors to satisfy his curiosity? If you're not doing regular walks where he can sniff and explore and learn new things, now's the time to start working on that. And you may find that the neighborhood walks aren't the first thing that will be successful with a young puppy. But any time outdoors in novel environments could satisfy his curiosity enough to go, when the front door opens. Decompression walks could be a real game changer for you if you have a door runner. Now, these walks allow the dog to sniff and explore in a way that comes naturally to him. The more he has an outlet for this natural behavior, the less likely he'll do it when it's not a good time for you. Decompression walks are great for burning off excess energy and helping a dog settle when you need to get some work done. Decompression walks and outdoor time is considered the enrichment portion of the PMET plan. Now it really means provide opportunities to do what your dog wants to do. And if you provide them in a safe way that works for you, he'll be less likely to do these behaviors when you don't want him to do. Yes, it really does work like that. And if you're unsure about how to do a decompression walk, in a moment, I'm going to share the link for you to watch after this. All right, now, if you're starting to think about how to meet your dog's need for novelty and check out the world, remember that you can also bring in smells from outside. We did a challenge called Think Inside the Box. We encouraged our students to put novel and interesting things in a snuffle box. Now, you'd love all the creative things our students did to satisfy their dog's curiosity. One amazing idea, it was to make a sniff-only box for your dog to safely explore things that are not safe to be consumed. For those of you who have dogs that eat leaves and sticks and everything in between, this is a great enrichment activity for you. Here's how you do it. you're gonna find some kind of box where you can put holes in the top. Now, since the items inside are not for consumption, you might want to use some kind of plastic box or something stronger than cardboard. Then, cut or drill to create holes in the top. Next, put in some leaves or sticks or dirt or anything you can find from outside. Pine cones work great for this too. Then allow your dog to sniff it all from the top of the box. Yes, even just sniffing is great for your dogs. He's learning all kinds of new things about these items and it's giving his brain a good workout. And the great thing is that you can constantly change out what's inside the sniff box for other things from other areas. Even the grass from your work will smell different to him than the grass in your yard. Now, if you start to look at the world as, what could I bring home for my dog to smell? You're gonna find endless possibilities. You would laugh if you saw all the things I stuck in my purse to bring home to the dogs when I do errands. The sniff box is also great if you have a dog who's on a limited mobility protocol, like recovering from spay or neuter surgery. I have even more great ideas about that in this popular video. Save it for when it comes time for your puppy surgery. Next, let's talk about training. It's the final piece of the PMET plan. Did you know that you can train your dog to respond positively to the doorbell or knocking? This signal can be the cue for your dog to do something you want. Instead of jumping on guests or barking at the mail carrier, your dog can actually learn that the doorbell means he goes to his bed or a mat or his crate. Now, the most important part of this process is to know exactly what you want him to do when he hears the doorbell or the knock. And if you don't know what you want him to do when the doorbell rings, he doesn't either. It's a pro tip. During training sessions for this new behavior, you'll want to make it so easy for the dog to succeed. This is where we really break it down into bite-sized pieces. Now you can start with simply rattling the doorknob and then cueing the desired behavior. Using those small steps in your training sessions, you're going to work up to actually opening the door, then someone coming to the door, then knocking lightly, and so on. All while cueing your dog. Do you see how each of these scenarios is really its own training step? Think of this like teaching someone to do a complicated gymnastic run across the mat with flips and twists and cartwheels and everything. The gymnast started with the most basic moves, then got really good at them and eventually added on more complex ones. Okay, after all that, you might be thinking, but Michelle, why does it have to be so complicated? Can't I just teach my dog not to run? Yeah, sorry, that's not a thing. It's that complicated because you're teaching a different species how to do something that he was naturally born to do. But let me reassure you that it's not as hard as it sounds. For homework, let me break it down into 3 simple steps. Prevent your dog from bolting out the door with some kind of puppy-proofing system. Decide what you want your dog to do instead, and start training outside of the time you have people coming to the door. Make sure your dog is getting sufficient outside time. If you haven't done those decompression walks that I mentioned earlier, now's the time to start. I think decompression walks are an integral part of this training, even though they might seem totally unrelated. But it's really your dog doing what he loves and what comes naturally to him. But he gets to do it in a productive way with your supervision, so he remains safe. The door bolting serves the same function, explore the world, but it's unsafe for your dog to do it. Now, not everyone is doing these decompression walks the right way. Now, I want you to have the right mindset about these walks and make sure you're doing them safely. So, before you head outside, I want you to check out this video about how to make sure they're done well so that you're truly benefiting your dog. Okay, do you have enough information to teach your dog good manners at the door? Are you thinking about how to prevent this behavior and how to beef up your dog's safety protocols? Well, if you need any help working through this, you know where to find your favorite online puppy training expert. Michelle here, signing off for now.